Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I think I have the best news to share with you that I've had in a while. In fact, I not only have one major breaking story on Fanny that's going to just make you stand up and sing. Well, you might be singing something like this. Oh, wait, no, the volume's off. It's like my Loverboy song and the volume's off. But anyways, if real quickly, I've got a special guest. I'm going to bring him in. I've got courtroom video from Georgia. It's going to blow your ever-loving mind. It's going to be fantastic. But check out my sponsor, Midas Gold Group, folks. MidasGoldGroup.com or call them at 480-360-3000. You can also text Lumberjack to 232-425. In times of economic turmoil, gold and silver has always held its value. Go get yourself some because it's good stuff. I'm going to bring in my special guest, and then we are going to watch some courtroom video. People, Fanny is effectively done at this point. This case is going nowhere. This is like the death nail in the coffin, folks. I'm so excited about this, but let me bring in my special guest really quick. I've got David Cross from on the ground in Georgia right there. He's here because there's big things taking place in Georgia tomorrow that we have to tell you about. It's very important. So, David, I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thanks, Neil.
I can't hear you. I don't know. Is this? Oh, it's you about. It's very there. It's my volume. Hold on, because I have this. There. All right. Now I got it, David. You there?
Am I live now?
All right. Now here, I got to do my lover boy thing here. Oh, that's right, Fanny. Okay, David, right. So, David, let's watch this. I don't even think you know. This literally broke right as I was making the thumbnail. I had to change it, but watch this. This is from the courtroom in Georgia, and this effectively ends Fannie Willis. Watch it.
Specifically looking at defendant Roman's motion, it alleges a personal relationship that resulted in a financial benefit to the district attorney, and that is no longer a matter of complete speculation. The state has admitted a relationship existed, and so what remains to be proven is the existence and extent of any financial benefit, again, if there even was one. So, because I think it's possible that the facts alleged by the defendant could result in disqualification, I think an evidentiary hearing must occur to establish the record on those core allegations. So just to emphasize, I think the issues at point here are whether a relationship existed.
Did you guys, were you watching, David? Did you watch these people from the state attorneys? You know, you got Sandy Monroe and everything. Watch this. This is so epic. I mean, it's over for her.
Allegations.
Look at her.
So just to emphasize, I think the issues at point here are whether a relationship existed.
It's over. It is freaking over. And David, for those who don't understand what just happened, we need to break this down for them really quickly. But so the big thing is, if Trump's case is not tried before election, their plan doesn't work. And David, what does this mean? I mean,
I think what it means is that effectively the barriers that are happening in Georgia just completely get obliterated. And even if you're a hardcore leftist liberal, you got to be looking at this and just shaking your head and just saying, oh my God, what did they do? How did this happen? I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm just like, I'm cheering it on because I think it's just amazingly stupid. But I love the fact that you got these people that think that they are bigger than the law, and they're going to prosecute and persecute and use the law as a cudgel against solid citizens, including President Trump, and they're going down in flames. And I love it. I celebrate it.
Well, you know what's interesting about this? So basically, people, if you don't realize what just happened there, the judge is saying that they need to have an evidentiary hearing on Fannie Willis now, which basically effectively ends the case. There's no way that this case will get tried before the election at this point. They can't continue pursuing the case. And the result of this would be Fannie's removal from the case, potentially even prosecution for Fannie because she was misappropriating tax dollars. She was basically defrauding the people of Georgia of their money. And actually, because there's federal dollars even injected in this case too, all of us have been defrauded. And the federal dollars came because they were meeting with the White House and getting paid and billing out for meeting with the White House.
Well, if Neil, if you recall me, so but before this all started, before she even pushed those charges forward and and filed her case, there was a telephone call that apparently went into her office that said, you need to file charges right now. And apparently, Fannie or her office was pushing back and saying, we can't do it. Right now we're not ready. And the folks in Washington said, you don't understand. You have to do this. You will do this. And they still pushed back and said, we're just not ready. And they said, I don't think you fully understand. You are going to do it. And so that's when they did it. And then what ended up happening, I think it was either last week or the week before, we found out that the computer service that reads the documents before it makes them public apparently misread. And so now I think they're even looking at getting like a whole nother case number, assigned to this particular case, which is unheard of. I mean, I think if you ask attorneys, in Georgia, has it ever happened? They're going to tell you, I've never heard of that happening before. So there's just error after error after error. And I think what ends up happening is you just have dishonest people that are pushing a dishonest narrative. And honestly, this is God's way of evening the score.
It's absolutely. I mean, this literally, people this is so fresh. Like it broke 10 minutes ago. Well, before I went on. So it's probably like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes old, something like that. But this just occurred at the courtroom in Georgia. And now Fannie, again, if you just jumped on the stream, there's 1,469 of you on. Please do smash that like. Let's help get this stream out there. Do chat in with where you're from. And then give a hand clap to this judge, because just put a hand clap in the chat, because he's saying that now we need an evidentiary hearing on Fannie Willis. This just happened. Again, I'll play the clip. It's only 40 some seconds from the courtroom again, because, Fannie's having problems with her lover boy. It's all, but it's not just her lover boy, people. It's not just her lover boy. I mean, it's also the misappropriation of funds. They tried to make this, and it's not only that, then it's perjury. Because they lied about the timing of the relationship. It's been a constant stream of lies. And so now it's over. I'll still be reporting on Fannie, because now I'm going to get to be reporting on her prosecution, her persecution. It's right. Oh, by the way, you probably know this, David, because you're down on the ground there in Georgia. There's a big hearing tomorrow, folks, that we're going to talk to David about. But on Thursday, whistleblowers are coming in and testifying before the Georgia Senate. Did you hear about this one, David?
No, I didn't. This is news to me. It seems like you've got all the scoop today.
Oh, I'm telling you what, I love Georgia right now. It's so bad in Georgia that Democrats are pulling their money out of Georgia. I mean, and partly because of what the news you're going to bring, because election integrity is becoming such a movement down in Georgia right now that Democrats are pulling their money out of that state because they can't get any more happy faces and, to go in and do the work. And Mark Zuckerberg probably won't be able to, fund all these drop boxes and everything else. So all that's taking place in Georgia at the same time that Fannie Willis is being removed. All right, so we're up to 1,722 people on. Please do smash the like button. Just for those that jumped on before we get into the election bills, I want to share this really quickly. Again, this is from the courtroom in Georgia. Just happened. Watch this.
Specifically looking at Defendant Roman's motion, it alleges a personal relationship that resulted in a financial benefit to the district attorney. And that is no longer a matter of complete speculation. The state has admitted a relationship existed.
No matter complete speculation. The fact that a relationship existed has been admitted to. And people, I want you to look at the faces of these attorneys. Look at Sandy. She is not a happy looking lady right now.
And so what remains to be proven is the existence and extent of any financial benefit. Again, if there even was one. So, because I think it's possible that the facts alleged by the defendant could result in disqualification, I think an evidentiary hearing must occur.
The facts are there, people. An evidentiary hearing, disqualification. That means they have to then remove Fannie and her team from the case, and somebody else has to come in and take over, and it's done. It's done. People, I don't even think people won't get this. They're going to go like, no, Fanni isn't done yet. No, the case is over. I'm telling you what this means. The case is over. David, am I wrong on this?
Listen, I think there's a really good chance that it is over, because what's going to happen is this case is probably going to get punted, to another potential district attorney to see if somebody else will take it. But as it stands right now, this case is viewed as nuclear waste, and nobody wants to spend any time or money or resources on it. So, it may not die like right away, but I think this thing is going to starve from oxygen here pretty soon.
Well, what's interesting is even on The View, even the liberal ladies on The View were freaking out over Fanni Willis one day. And I had a video I posted on YouTube about this, but here's the thing. They even admitted that Fanni Willis, I think it was Sunny Heston or whatever her name is, said, well, she went around to all these other attorneys because they were trying to basically say, well, she had to go with Nathan Wade because she couldn't get anybody else. They went around to all these other attorneys, all these other experienced RICO attorneys, and no one would take it. So
the only person that would take it is her boyfriend.
Exactly. And now all that's being outed, but we'll finish the video up real quick.
To establish the record on those core allegations. So just to emphasize, I think the issues at point here are whether a relationship existed.
I'm telling you, this is the greatest news I've had to give people it's gone. It's just so done. I mean, so here's what you have, people, just to break this down before we get into the next piece of news. The case is effectively, I'm calling it over, because here's the deal. Fanni Willis, there's going to be an evidentiary hearing on this. We already know, and we've seen all the goods out there. She finally had to admit to the relationship, but then lied about that. So she perjured herself, or I guess Nathan perjured himself. It's tough to keep up with all the lies. I'm sorry. Then you've got the fact that nobody else wants to take this case. Why? Because the case, as David had alluded to, is nuclear. Nobody wants to touch it. It's not a winnable case. No attorney wants to take on these non-winnable cases. Okay? Because there is no RICO charge. The real RICO enterprise is Fanni Willis, Nathan Wade, and the corruption in Georgia.
Correct.
So that's what's going on there. But now, what else is going on in Georgia, and something that David really needs to get the message out on, is happening tomorrow. So David, I'm gonna turn this over to you. Let you tell us what's going on in Georgia tomorrow that's so vitally important that people need to know about, because you have the state election board. It's tomorrow at 9 a.m., correct?
Yep, they're meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It's going to be via Zoom. I'm going to put the credentials and the link onto Twitter. So if you go to GA ballots and take a look there, I'll have it posted. Or you can probably look at Neil's link also. I'm sure he can post it somewhere also. But the whole point is that the state election board is meeting. They have invited public comment about SEB policy, or about state election board policy. There's a lot of things in the hopper right now. Currently, Georgia legislators are in session. They're about to hit the they're about to hit the crossover point here, I think, like in the next week or so. But what I'm keenly up on right now, and where I need everybody's help, is to reach out to the state election board. I've got their email address. It'll be listed right there on Twitter and on Neil's link. And
okay, by the way, hold on one second, David. My Twitter link, people, is right down below. If you're looking for David, you can find him on Twitter, X, I guess it's called now. But below in the description is my link, and I'll post the link right here. You can follow me on X, and David is in the people I follow, and I only follow a few hundred people, so he's not hard to find. But I will post my link to Twitter or X right now. And the other thing you said, and you're on Twitter. I'm trying to remember, your handle is @GABallots, right?
Correct.
So, but do you have it anywhere else too?
I haven't put it on my website yet, on GA Ballot's website. I just haven't had time. I mean, obviously I've got a day job where I,
Yes.
manage investments and that kind of thing. But I just pushed this out. I'm trying to push it out by an email to a couple thousand people I've got. And the system right now is blocking me for some reason. It keeps saying my account's suspended. They keep unsuspending it. It keeps getting suspended again. It's either conspiracy or it's just stupidity that's happening with the provider. But what I'm looking for is one of the key things that's happening is that in Georgia, election materials are mailed out to Georgia voters. Nobody does any kind of tracking. I met with Hall County, Georgia last week, and they said they don't track anything. And it's not because they're stupid. They don't think like criminals do. And you really have to think like that. But no mail is being tracked. So when a ballot application is sent out to somebody, nobody tracks it. When it's being sent back, nobody tracks it. When an actual live paper ballot is mailed out either by a county or the state, nobody sends it by restricted delivery, which is like, signature, receipt request, and you have to show your ID and all that kind of thing. And that to me is critically important, because when a ballot is mailed out, I mean, think about a lawyer or a banker or somebody else. If they're sending sense to somebody, how do they send it? I've lost you. Are you still there? Neil, can you hear me? Hello? Neil, can you hear me?
Are we back?
Now we're back.
Yeah,
You gotta like
something
stop
went
touching
crazy.
the buttons over there.
I don't know. Something happened on my computer, but I did just post that email. So I found that on your Twitter page.
Perfect. I don't know if anybody heard what I was saying before. Do you know if the mic picked it up before?
It looks like they said it was good on their end. It was just, we can hear you fine. So apparently it was fine.
Okay. All right. But the bottom line is, if sensitive documents are being sent out by a lawyer or a banker or something like that, they normally send them by a process server, or they send them by mail with return receipt request, or they send it by runner. They send it by somebody who verifies the identity and the address of the person it's going to. And with ballots in Georgia, nobody does that. Nobody tracks anything. And so we need to be able to track these things. It costs $11.65 to mail a ballot this way. But you know what? It's a small price to pay for convenience, and it's a small price to pay for the security and the integrity of our ballots. And so I need you to send a message today. You can copy and paste my message, send it to the state election board, and let them know how critically important it is that if we're going to be mailing ballots, I don't care if it's in Georgia or any other state, you have to send it by United States Postal Service restricted delivery.
And I just posted that again for people, that email, especially if you're in Georgia, you need to be emailing right now. So I want to tell you folks, I'll brag up on David here just a little bit. David was involved in the original Georgia election hearings. He's been closely aligned with Garland Favorito, and they have been working on the cases. He has pulled the data together for all of these cases. He has continued to press forward and do the work, people. So, what he's asking here is valuable. When David talks about election integrity in Georgia, I'm all ears. Ross Perot, right? But it's just a thing. So, and what else do you need going on down there?
There's going to be more that's going on. So if you want to keep up with what's happening, you can go to another website that I started called AmericanPatriotCaucus.com. You can sign up to get newsletters and emails about things that are happening and how you can become a force for good to try and help affect change, here in Georgia. And whatever, and you see good ideas in Georgia, you can easily apply them to your state as well too, because the concepts of election security and integrity make sense, no matter what state you're in.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Anything else?
That's all for now, man. I can't wait to see how this thing shakes out, on the evening news and how they're going to report it and that kind of thing. So it's going to be fun. There's going to be more, but like I said, 9:00 tomorrow morning, you can actually participate. You can watch on the Zoom link. They won't be able to hear you. You'll be able to hear everything that's going on. And 3 of my cases are going to be discussed. One of which is in Georgia. We had 97% of the counties that gave us their documentation exhibited something called the Williamson, Tennessee error, which means that we believe that machines in Georgia are not counting ballots properly. So hopefully we're going to hear about that, or we're going to hear some progress as far as like investigation that's going on that thing with that right now. But I would encourage you to participate, and then also you can also take a look at what the transcripts for the Curling versus Raffensperger case, because that is now actually out. It's waiting to be decided by the court. The judge will hopefully come back the next 30 days and give us an answer there. But we just need participation. We need people to really stand up. And then the other thing too is that I know that there's lots of folks out there that are not involved in the Republican, county parties and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Please get involved, get out there, get the vote out. We've created something called the voter intelligence tool for Georgia, where you can look up potential swing voters, in your neighborhood, and you can reach out to these people politely and just say, hey, if you came to America based upon the ideals of what you thought America was like 40 or 50 years ago, with freedom and liberty and less government intrusion and responsible government, and treating people fairly. If that's the America that you came here for, particularly if you're immigrants, and you want that back, then by God, vote Republican. Those are the people that share those values. So help get out the vote, participate, get involved in your Republican county.
Unless their name is Mitch McConnell.
Well, there are some rhinos out there, like Mitch, but some of these politicians that have been up there, that have been in politics for 20, 30, 40 years or so, it's time for them to go. You can primary them. And if
Yes.
and
the only way you primary people is by being involved.
Right.
You've got to get support behind the good candidates. So that's really key. God darn, I should have done that video today, and I got to get my kids. Maybe I'll get that done tomorrow, people. I've got Oppo research from a candidate on another candidate. It's pretty wild stuff, but it's a way to get rid of one of the last people who voted to impeach Donald Trump. It's a really good story. So make sure you're watching the channel and make sure you're subscribed. If you just jumped on the stream, you've got to go back to the beginning and see the courtroom video from Georgia. Because Fanni's really having some problems with, and so it's more than that. I've got to mention my sponsor again really quickly too, Midas Gold Group, MidasGoldGroup.com. It's a 1 ounce gold coin. This is 1 ounce silver. It's always been seen as a store of value, people, long throughout history. The dollar may fail you, but gold will always maintain value. It's never been worth zero, and other countries' currencies have gone to zero. So I'm not saying you've got to hold cash too. Okay. Don't ever think that like in America, you can't hold some greenbacks, because when you go to buy at the store, you better have 3 months worth of greenbacks stored up, because that's just a reality if you go down with work. I mean, be smart about all your investments. David is actually an investment advisor, so I'll give him a plug. You can always reach out to him. Does a great job. But thanks so much for listening. Make sure to go back and check out that video at the beginning. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace out.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining us, Dave.